It's finals time now. The IEM Sydney 2019 Qualifiers, Southeast Asia region. I'm Elfish Guy, this is Pilly. It's been a long road for a few of these teams, but now we're finally here. Boot Dreamscape, Lucid Dream, the two teams that have made it through to this qualifying final. And I mean, Boot Dreamscape, we saw in that last game, looking okay, but we've still got some questions, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, definitely. All of the individual players sort of stepping up and playing pretty well, so that's good to see. My question's really going to be, how can they go up against Lucid Dream, who are on a bit of a tear at the moment. I really think they've had quite an impressive run throughout this qualifier. Yeah,
you've been a big fan, of course, of Lucid Dream. We've been talking about them a little bit, but you know, I've always been a fan of Boot Dreamscape. I've been questioning, can they actually make their way back in with this new roster? How's things looking for them? That kind of thing. And then in turn, like how they actually look up against a team like Lucid Dream, who have obviously made quite a few roster changes of their own. I mean, there's a lot of questions that I think still need to be answered about the Southeast Asia region. We're still in a position, in this region in particular, where all the pieces of the puzzle are sort of falling into place, but they're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and it's not just a question of, like, you know, the domestic competition, who wins this qualifier in particular and actually plays at IEM Sydney. It's how well can they fare going up against, you know, some of the other teams in the broader region in terms of Asia, as well as going into a international tournament like IEM Sydney. So,
well, we'll see which one it is going to be shortly, I'm sure, Pilly. And then I guess in turn how much they're going to be able to do at IEM Sydney in a month or a couple of months. For now, let's take a look at how the teams got here and what we're looking at for this final. Like we said, Lucid Dream, Boot Dreamscape 2 through. And Lucid Dream, of course, coming through the upper bracket are the team to get that one map advantage. It has to be said, though, I think it's pretty impressive for Boot Dreamscape. Like, they got knocked down into that lower bracket by NASA 2-0 in the upper bracket, first round. And they've come all the way through. So when I say it's been a long run for some of these teams, well, you look at Boot Dreamscape, they've now had to play 4 games in the lower bracket and that one in the upper bracket. Where Lucid Dream, they've really only played 3 games and they're kind of looking pretty good.
Yeah, all 2-0s as well for Boot Dreamscape. That's pretty good for them. You have to give it to Lucid Dream. I mean, in the first round, they took out Entity, which you have to remember, it's actually a mix of Serbian and Indian players. So you got some Europeans in there to add a little bit of difficulty into the sort of mixture. You know, the Serbians very, very good internationally. Obviously, Nico's in phase, and you got some Serbians in teams like Valiance and stuff like that, is where a lot of those Serbs sort of made their name and stuff like that. Then you've got them taking out NASA, who's one of the strongest sort of teams in this region as well. And then you can't really underestimate a landminer playing another one of your domestic region tie teams like Alpha Red. Like, you can't take a team like that for granted if you lose the Dream, but they 2-0 that one and they're able to make it through to the grand final. Now up against Boot, who have also beaten Alpha Red.
Now, definitely, I think when we look at Lucid Dream, you'll probably be forgiven for thinking, like, who are these guys really? Because a couple of qualifiers ago, I think it might have been like Oakland or something like that, which we were casting, Pilly, and we were looking at Lucid Dream in one of their former iterations, and they were not a great team. Like, they were definitely not up there in terms of the Thai teams even. You know, we're talking about teams like Signature, Beyond, those sorts of teams. But now Lucid Dream, they've come through the upper bracket here, and they're potentially looking to qualify for IEM Sydney. So you'd be thinking, okay, who actually is this roster? Well, let's have a look and see, because for me, this is, again, such a... I don't know what the word is, but it really is, it's a case in point for the Thai region, isn't it? Because Lucid Dream, you have no idea who they are, and then you look at the roster and you're like, oh, okay, I know QQ, I know Genius, I know PTC and CVPK. WannaFly is the only player from Lucid Dream that was in that roster 6 months ago. So it's like Lucid Dream have had a mass exodus of their players, and they've brought in all of the top talents in the Thai region, and now they've got this like almost super team, which was formerly like Beyond, a couple of the players on Beyond, and then formerly some of those guys were on Signature, so they've all sort of had a bit of a run in, and now they're here on Lucid.
Yeah, PTC was over at 5 Power and stuff like that. Then as well as over on Boot, you've got some new additions. You got Devire coming in from Frostfire. You got Alex, who was previously the coach of the team, coming in, and he doesn't do too badly for himself. He seems to be able to at least keep up with everybody else and just be good enough to sort of fill in the gaps and all that kind of stuff. So, and obviously the in-game leading and decision-making from Boot has been pretty decent tonight, avoiding a lot of landmine anti-ecos, and in general just some good approaches to strategy that seem to net them a pretty clutch win against Alpha Red on Nuke on the T side, but as well as on Dust too, just like throwing them off, going mid to B repeatedly, and then switching things around here and there towards the later part of that T side half. They had a really good job on that.
Well, I'm glad you're talking about the maps as well, Pilly, because it's time for us to have a look at what we've got in this particular one. Now, we're going to have obviously a best of 5 with a 1 map advantage, so the remaining map will be the free map technically for Lucid Dream. Inferno and Overpass, the two bans. Is there anything you really want to comment on that?
It's interesting to see again Inferno banned out so quickly up against Boot. It must be a thing that these guys know that Boot's been practicing Inferno or really good on Inferno or something like that. Some data that I don't have, because as far as I've seen, I know that Boot has played it in the past and they have been willing to sort of play Inferno quite a bit. But usually it's more of a decided map than a map that gets put in the mix early on. Obviously, Boot took out Overpass as well against Alpha Red, I think, and they don't seem to be playing that too much.
If memory serves me correctly, Overpass is their perma veto, or has been their perma veto for a long time. Anyway, the picks are going to go the way of Nuke. I think that's not a bad one for Lucid Dream. Boot Dreamscape didn't seem too comfortable on that, even up against Alpha Red.
Train onto Train.
Fair enough. That's pretty expected, I thought, from Boot Dreamscape. So let's bring up the last few here. Mirage, Dust 2, and that leaves Cache, obviously, as the remaining map, which is not going to be played tonight because of the one map advantage. But Nuke, for me, if we look at that from the outset straight away, that screams Lucid Dream, at least in my mind.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, they've just been able to, they're able to watch the game just like everybody else is, so they should have a pretty decent idea of how Boot's going to sort of approach, although Boot's approach was rather simplistic and didn't seem like, they were doing any kind of, really insane in-depth strats like you would usually see from a really structured sort of experienced Nuke team. So, would probably agree with you. I mean, they're not completely useless on the map. They seem to have a decent performance against Alpha Red, who quite regularly pick in and have a lot of reps in on the map, so it'll be interesting to see. I would probably agree with you that it should be a pretty easy map win there. I'm
quite excited to see how this PTC matchup against Splashkey is going to go, because we know, obviously, we've seen Splashkey, he's been doing great stuff there for Boot Dreamscape in that last match against Alpha Red, but PTC actually, in this qualifier in particular, is the top-rated player, and obviously the AWP matchup, so the two players that are the AWPers for their respective teams are the top two players that are rated in this qualifier, and incidentally both of their teams have managed to make it through to the final as well, which I find kind of interesting. So I've always been like a little bit not hesitant about PTC, but I've always felt he's been a little bit inconsistent, right?
Yeah,
I've seen big peaks from him, but I've also seen him really do not a great stuff as well at times. So if he's in great form right now, I think that's going to be a fantastic matchup to watch up against, in particular, Splashkey, who is also such a dynamic AWPer.
Yeah, I think we have to cut PTC a little bit of slack. Like, he's been playing on some rosters like Firepower and stuff like that where he might not have been in his prime comfort zone. Now he's speaking his native language. He's on a Thai team where he can sort of be a focal point, or the shining sort of piece in the crown, I guess, or the shining jewel. And we'll get to see how he works in his comfort zone a little bit more. And as you've said, I mean, the rating says that he seems pretty comfortable. He seems to be doing pretty well, but I guess we'll give it the old eye test throughout the rest of this series as well and find out who is the alpha AWPer. Maybe your love for Splashkey may dim a little bit.
Maybe. The other thing is, obviously, as a whole, Lucid Dream have looked phenomenal, really, in this qualifier. Like, they've gone through almost untouched. 4 of their players are within the top 10, so only one missing out from the entire team of the top 10 highest rated in this qualifier, which, again, stats, they don't speak for themselves, really, but I do think it is sort of just going to show you a little bit as to how strong Lucid Dream has been thus far. But how are they going to go up against Boot Dreamscape? I mean, traditionally, if you asked me this 12 months ago, 100% I'd be saying this is Boot Dreamscape's, well, technically 3-0, I guess, if that were the argument. But now, the jury really is out. I mean, Boot Dreamscape, I think they still have a lot of growing to do. And I'm also interested to see, this is my first time actually watching this Lucid Dream roster. I've seen actually all of these players before, cast every single one of them. But as a whole collective, it'd be interesting to see how they're going to go together. But it certainly seems like it's working out quite nicely for them. So we'll see what they can end up doing. I'm going to start on the T side of Nuke, as expected. Boot Dreamscape, well, I'm hoping that they're going to have a little bit more to this TT side than just Splashkey going crazy with the AWP, because I think they're going to need it.
Completely different setup from what they did last time. Last time they pushed lobby, this time 2 people around. Very, very fast engagement here going the way of Lucid. They've got their Glocks out and they're running fast down lower.
Yeah, QQ already picking up 1, but immediately traded it back out. What is Splashkey doing? Well, he hasn't slowed down at all. There's a 4th as well for him. And Genius also drops to Divide, but Splashkey starting off with 4. And I thought, okay, we've had a bit of a break. All that quote-unquote warm-up maybe that Boot Dreamscape would have had against Alpha Red, didn't think it was going to matter. But certainly seems like Splashkey has either been hitting the DMs in the break or hasn't slowed down at all.
I have to agree with you. Pretty impressive. He's under a lot of pressure there. He's got Glocks closing in all around him. He's trying to fall back through lower. Not easy shots to be able to connect consecutively, and he makes it look easy. Cleans them up pretty quickly there. Now Lucid Dream onto the save. Two people grouped up in Annex as CBK loses his life towards outer there from Heaven. Alex has been picked up as well. There goes the bomb into lower.
Yeah. Lucid Dream just running everywhere at the moment with those pistols. QQ did have himself an MP9, but won't make too much use of it. Did Qualifier get spotted there? Certainly seems as though he has. And he'll go down as well. So, nice start for Boot. Can't complain about that one. Lucid Dream, though, will be getting the AKs through in this round, and this is where we really get to see what Lucid Dream is going to offer us.
I would imagine it might actually be a bit more of a set strat, because I'm looking at the buy-up from Lucid Dream thus far, and CBK, the first thing he did was buy a flash, a smoke, and a Molotov before anything else. Before buying an AK, before buying armor, he's made sure he has those 3 pieces of utility. So let's see what the approach is going to be for Lucid Dream. Looks like they've thrown the smokes towards outside and they're grouping up very quickly into this lobby area. It looks like it's going to be a quick uppers execute, but they're spamming the door open on the side of Boot, making it so hard for them to set up. You can't set up your Annex smoke or anything if you're just getting the spam straight through the door.
Yeah, Divide doing a great job with the AUG, and it's already shut down 2 Lucid Dream players. Just seemed like they weren't really prepared for that at all. Not ready for the aggression out from Boot. Certainly not expecting it. There's a trade back from QQ. It's Alex to go down, so that relieves a little bit of pressure, and maybe even another frag there. As you can see, we just cut away from it. CBBK gets a splash here, an important and impactful frag and on an important and impactful player. Now we're back into a 3v3. All the good work that Boot Dreamscape did is slowly starting to slip back the way of Lucid Dream.
And we saw that happen in the last map, last series again as well versus Alpha Red. You know, sometimes when they were in a 5-on-3, they would sort of throw away a few extra frags. Some people would get a little bit over aggressive, and you know that might not come back to bite you as much up against a team like Alpha Red. But up against Lucid, you don't want to be throwing away any of those kills. Now Bobasaur under a lot of pressure. He's done so much damage to both these Ts. Can he get away?
Looks like he will be able to. And even if the face does come out here from one of Flame, oh no, CVBK has come through the back. From Decon, Bobasaur wasn't prepared for that. We've already seen a few times he's suffered a loss from Decon. CBK challenging Benkai, the MP9. They're not quite good enough, even despite the jump. Now there's 3 very low HP players. Devi's been good so far on this map, but has he been good enough to win a 1v3? That Molotov maybe says no. He's going to get caught in the side by Wanna Fly. A better round out in the end for Lucid Dream, and actually a 3v5 that goes their way.
Yeah, so just as right from the start of the round, as soon as I saw that utility being brought out, I had a feeling that that might have been a bit more of a set play. And at Lucid Dream, right off the bat, they wanted to throw out those outside smokes and then go straight into that uppers hit through the squeaky door. They lost 2 of their players, but, you know, that's what Boot got punished for in the last series. Less so is losing a couple of players when they're in a massive advantage in a 5-on-3 or something like that. Lucid Dream, they spread back out, they look for frags, they're able to get 2 of those picks and convert that round from what was a 5-on-3 for Boot in favor of them into a round win for Lucid where they retain 3 guns. And you can't be throwing those away as Boot. You need to start getting rolling on this CT side and get your minimum requirement number of rounds, you know? Like, you can't let Lucid get off to a really good start on the T side of Nuke, or you're going to find yourself down 0-2 in this series.
Yeah, definitely. And that is sort of a question that I raised as well when we were watching that Alpha Red game. And Boot was getting away with a lot. And I said, okay, yes, you can get away with that against Alpha Red, but when you go up against Lucid Dream, I don't think you're going to get away with things like that. And already we've seen Lucid Dream being able to punish Boot at least one time. How many more of that is going to be the next question. Splashkey holding here with the AWP. This will be something that Lucid Dream's prepared for. Somehow Splashkey misses the shot, and Wanafly, well, he definitely, again, punishes him for it. Lucid Dream just seemed a little bit more on the ball than what Boot are ready for.
Some good movement, some great shoulder peeking. Splashkey's expecting someone to come around that corner a little bit wider, and just that little edging out really throws him off. Bobasaur in position. He needs to multi-frag here, or this round's over for Boot. Although they have made their way down the vent. It's like ships in the night. They're walking right past each other, the CTs and the Ts.
Oh, Bobasaur does indeed multi-frag. Brings it to a 3v3. And he actually finds a third as well. It's PTC to go down, but QQ straight out from Megaton. Dispatches of him. Ends that killing spree, and the bomb will go down here. Alex pushing up. He's actually not quite going to deny it, and Genius does fall, but QQ able to trade back. Now they have no idea where Benkai is and what is going on in that.
Yeah, don't know about that post plant positioning up on top of the silo there. Man, I don't even know where to go on that round in particular. It really felt like it should have been a Lucid Dream round when they got control of that lowers, but no one was watching the vent. Like, as soon as you take Windows and decon, the first thing you got to do is you got to have someone watching the vent. You can't just let them walk out the vent and just backstab you. I know it was Bobosaur that was already in, you know, that Windows area and able to do so much damage from there, but it just felt like, I don't know, maybe it was a case of bad timing or something like that, but yeah, I guess we'll see how it sort of pans out. Lucid Dream, they're able to buy up again into this round. Plenty of bomb plants for the lads. Everyone's money pretty low on both sides. Lots of pressure towards outside. Here's a smoke into Warehouse, a flash over the top of CT Red, and a molly into Secret. 4 players on the outside for this Thai team. They throw the smoke into Annex. They're going to try to wrap through the Warehouse, I would imagine. Start to put some pressure onto this ladder base area. Meanwhile, QQ's already ready for this lobby push for a boot. Instantly punishes them for it.
Yeah, Bobosaur is going to be, again, key as he does find Genius, which once again is going to equalize things. With the weaponry here for Boot, they're still making it work, though. Devi with the push onto outer, it's going to be a Galil for him to upgrade into.
Fly's making his way down Secret. Probably will be joined pretty soon here by PTC. None of these boot players really in position. 2 on the upper bomb site, 1 towards ramp. Giving up lower at the moment, and I would imagine that's an opportunity for Lucid Dream to get themselves in some pretty great positions and get a good opportunity at closing this round out. You really have to point to the fact that the weaponry isn't actually that fantastic for these boot players. A Galil and an MP9, going to be difficult to make that work, especially in these longer lines of sight. It's going to be on Bobosaur to get a lot of the damage done. Door is opened, and it looks like the CTs have probably heard that as they start to shift their way around. Bomb plant for Decon and Windows with 1 player moving down Vent and Megaton.
The spray is so long from Wanafly. Doesn't get anything out of it. Luckily, PTC gets 1 in the bink. Makes it easy for PTC to finish off Devi. And now into the 1v1 up against Alex, who looks like he might just smoke the bomb and try and get this defuse working. Fakes it, and that'll catch PTC. Another very close round for Boot. They make it work, but how long can they keep these rounds with just 1 player left alive going?
Couldn't get any closer, and Boot's getting away with it time and time again. Still pretty decent money for Lucid. I don't know if you buy into this one. Do a half buy, maybe pistol armor and get it done. Or you could go for a couple of Galils. I'm interested to see what their approach is going to be. I like the way they set up that last round, though, really jumping on towards Annex. A lot of pressure on that outside area. Nice time for them to take a pause. They are actually going to buy. But they put a lot of pressure on towards the Warehouse there. But you just see the strength of the individual decision-making from some of these boot players really shine through in that last round. I really like the approach towards outside and Warehouse from Lucid Dream, but the push into lobby and the way that some of those boot players were maneuvering around the outside to try and look for that extra pick or just get that extra advantage and get away before Lucid were able to take full Warehouse control or get someone into heaven was really the difference maker there for Boot.
Just a quick tactical pause for Lucid there. Didn't last for too long, so I'm not sure what they ended up actually discussing. Not a whole lot of utility here for them. Again, it looks like they'll go toward outer with these smokes.
Well, they're throwing out the outside smokes. I don't know if I would be keen on committing towards the outside with this weaponry. It's going to be an uppers execute. Molotov's over towards the front of Squeaky and the top of Hut.
Not a bad start, 2 for 1, and PTC knows exactly where that player is. Close, it's Devi. Trying to dance around the door, both of them in fact, and it's in the end actually Wanafly that will find Devi. 2v3, a few of those Lucid players definitely are hurting. CBBK does have a bit of HP, but now Splash's position is known. Smoke will go down. Does he decide to push through it? And if he does, it's probably the end of him. CBBK is definitely waiting. Bomb down now for Lucid Dream. And Splashy has a monumental task ahead of him, if he even goes for it. It appears he may not.
Yep, just going to say, if he's a bit too low, they've had too much time to set up a good post-plant crossfire and get in some decent positions. So that's going to be the end of the round. Lucid Dream do get on the board, and, you know, Boot might be leading 4-2, but these rounds have been so close. It comes down to a 1v1 every time, and you really get the feeling that it's only a matter of time before Lucid start to really get their foot into this game and get a lot of T rounds on the board. Boot have been looking pretty shaky, in my opinion.
I mean, and that's what I felt like even with Alpha, right? Yeah. Alpha Red, it took them a little while, and even Splashy kind of going absolutely nuts didn't stop them from getting, what, 6 rounds on the T side of Nuke.
Yeah, and that was a lot of good CT side AWPing from Splashkey. I don't know if he's going to have the stability of economy to get his hand on that AWP
Not
a lot
at
of the time. Yeah, I don't know when in the near future he's going to be able to do that.
Splashkey's got the AK only in this round, but we'll see what kind of an impact he can have. But he's seen the AK can actually work for him as well. But a tough ask. Not even any armor on the remaining boot players, so even if Splashkey sort of opens things up here, drops a gun or two, you know, it's not like the guns that go over to boot are going to be particularly effective, one would think. And straight away, he's just been, again, absolutely decked, holding the stairs.
Going together are Lucid and looking at some of the other angles. Nice nade out from Alex. Does a little bit of chip damage.
Can't do much past that though, and Lucid Dream are actually across, but there's a lot of players actually on this B bomb site for Boot Dreamscape. Bobasaur almost getting a second. Benkai will actually, in fact, convert the second, but there's some long angles being played by these USPs, and you're starting to get the sense that Boot, they may be able to find a way to win this round if Lucid don't get it together. Wannafly with an important aim battle there. If he goes down there, that's almost the round. He was the player with the bomb. Wants to rejoin Genius, who is clearing out the A site. It looks like the crisis, at least for now, has been averted by Lucid Dream, but Defy with an AK. What does he want to do?
He finds the right timing to be able to catch one of these T's off guard. The round's definitely winnable from him, but the second he cops a bullet, that aim punch is probably going to be the end of him. Starts to make his way out squeaky, but the door's not open. The second he opens this door, both the T's, they're going to be ready for him.
Well, the information is now given. And if it wasn't already, the spam into the vent reinforces the fact. But not much to do really there for Defy.
Again, not the most solid anti-eco, was it?
No, definitely wasn't. But it's a round nonetheless. And I think at the moment that's what Lucid Dream will be happy with. We can start to talk about the nitty-gritty as they really start going up against the gun rounds, because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to win and lose the half.
So, Boot, do you actually buy up into this one? Because obviously you won't be able to get an AWP over on the Splashkey. Money's still pretty scuffed. Lucid, their money's not too fantastic either. They lost a lot of AKs to those pistols. They will buy up here. Not the best utility on top of onto all of these CTs. Lucid, pretty basic approach from them. Smoke to get them over towards T-Red. They haven't actually thrown out the outside smokes. They've just got two of the lads over here with the AKs looking to take some duels. Would have thought that really would have worked for him there, but Splashkey, if it was anybody else, maybe.
Yep, exactly. Still managing to get across here relatively unspotted. I don't know, maybe Splashkey saw Wannafly just going around the corner there.
I don't think so, because no one's really making... Oh, no, they're rotating through lower now. Bobasaur's making his way down there. Splashkey's going to pick up the ramp.
Just backwards and forwards. He's got the running shoes on.
I think Wannafly's now making his way through windows or something like that. They're going to start to contact towards ramp, so they're going to really rely on trading this frag out on the ramp, take control of the ramp room, and then get Wannafly. But they've lost the bomb in lobby.
Oh, almost a 2K there for whoever it was that actually picked the corner, but they couldn't get the frag. HE nades here available for Wannafly. I'm not sure. Yeah, he's the one on the B site, so unfortunate for Lucid Dream, but it works out a little bit more favorable for Boot Dreamscape than you might have expected. Now it's on the explosion out onto A. You can see all of the Lucid Dream players ready to just bounce out. Wannafly checking into Annex, does get rid of Alex, but they're not aware of Benkai behind the second vent.
That position was just a little bit too good. Bobasaur, that you could see how comfortable Boot were, that they'd never really discovered that player. I think it was Wannafly that had crept through secret into lowers, and for that reason, I mean, Bobasaur, with the man advantage, they were able to just have that player down lower scouting around. There's no one there. They have 3 stack in the upper bomb site. One's just chilling behind the bomb site itself. Alex playing close up with the MP9, basically being the bait for the other two. Benkai just swings out from the CT vent. And they're able to stack 3 up there because they're just so comfortable with the fact that lowers isn't very much contested. Ignorance was bliss there for Boot in that round in particular, because they had no idea that anyone was even in lowers in the first place, and that made them really feel like it was going to be uppers, which it was.
Even though this is a pistol round out for Lucid Dream, still really important. You can see Boot haven't quite gotten on top of the money game just yet.
Patricia's off to making his way up into heaven now, I think.
Yeah. Has he made a footstep there? I think he might have.
Who's the old mate in CT spawn right now? Alex is just running around.
He's actually in a pretty good spot to help out Splashkey, incidentally.
It's funny. He hasn't moved. He was AFK.
Look, genius. He's just crab walking all the way in. Oh, he gets in behind him. Finishes off Splashkey. And dash up the ladder. Caught him on the reload. Alex is the next one that they can kind of isolate. In fact, I don't think anyone really here for Boot can help him out. But it doesn't look like they're going to have an easy time of actually dealing with him. PTC just goes up the ladder to his death. And CBBK. I would have liked to have seen a bit more damage out here from Lucid, I think. If he can get one, then okay, that's going to make it a pretty decent round actually for Lucid. Oh, and there you go. That's what you need. AK
Sharp shooter.
Won't win the round with 15 seconds, but...
You do really want to die, though. You don't want to not get that loss bonus at the end. Okay, so 2 guns taken away for Lucid, not too bad at all. Now they're going to be able to buy up into this round in particular. Or are they? No, they're actually saving. I'm very surprised at that. They only had 1 player who was 3.5k. Everyone else had 4 to 5k across the board. So, I mean, you've got to be pretty confident in whatever kind of pistol strat you're throwing in here. They're just doing outside smokes.
Perhaps they want to get that AWP on PTC.
Perhaps. I don't know if I really love that on the T side of Nuke, but we'll see how it goes. Splashkey, he might get caught off by the pace of these T pistolers.
And he will. 1 for 1, that's good for Lucid.
Oh, PTC's got the AWP as well.
He's bunny hopping everywhere. He's holding the line here, waiting for Devi to make the mistake. In fact, actually, Devi will go down to his teammate. And now, all of a sudden, Lucid Dream have a player advantage. You talked about the pistol round strategy. Well, it's not a pistol round anymore. The guns are in the hands of Lucid, and PTC makes a big impact with the AWP. It's all onto Bulbasaur, who, so far in this particular map, well, he started off well, but slowed down a little bit. Big moment for him to try and make something happen here, or I guess save the AUG through. Either way, it's almost a lose-lose for Boot Dreamscape.
I think Boot, they were really expecting a an AK round coming out from Lucid, and the fact that they saved really threw Boot off in this round. You see those outside smokes coming around. You see Splashkey, he's like, all right, I'm just going to go hold that secret angle now. I'll wait for these AK players to sort of make their way in their own time over towards me. Hold that thought. Bulbasaur, he's got himself 2. Where's PTC at right now?
In the hut. Yeah. He's got a Molotov though, so...
But there's a smoke onto the bomb.
Oh well, with a CZ, he should be able to finish this one off. No problems at all.
Alright.
Well, it could have definitely been better for Lucid Dream, I guess, at that point. If you take 3 guns through, your money's great. But
I think they're pretty happy.
You're still pretty happy.
They're fine with that. I'll take winning an EK. Bulbasaur almost got it together though.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes he's pretty sharp. It's just the consistency.
I remember that map against Tyloo on Inferno. Or that series against Tyloo in particular.
Yeah. Well, 4's up on the board for Lucid when realistically it should have been 7-3 right now. So I think Boot was afforded a round like that against Alpha Red, which sort of gave them the map almost. Now they've given one back over to Lucid Dream, so perhaps it's calmer.
Here's the alternative outside control that Lucid Dream's really running at the moment. This time, God.
Oh.
They smoke warehouse, they smoke the windows, molly on towards credit card, and they just sort of look for picks. And I'm very surprised that Alex is the one that's left outside with a CZ. It's like, why you don't just have your pistoling player playing on top of HUD or something like that, rather than playing outside, just hiding behind CT Red. Doesn't seem like the most effective positioning in my opinion. Now Lucid, pretty massive advantage, I would imagine. Oh, unless Wonderfly walks away at the wrong time. Got it under control.
4 guns through, you'd be happy with that as Lucid, especially against a round like that.
Yeah, and they shut down that that whole Boot round there where they were just trying to get their money back together. Look how structured this take is and how well the flashbangs are working. They got the molly onto Heaven, they got the smoke in Warehouse, they got the smoke on Windows. Are we watching Asian CS right now?
Watching Thai CS. It's different.
They're organised. It's beautiful to watch. I'm very happy at this point. Now they're going to be rewarded for it as well. Looking like they're going to be moving closer to 6 rounds on the board if they don't lose this anti-eco.
Yeah, going to equalise, that's for sure. Genius and CBK doing a good enough job. Alex will try and back in with one, but it's the push into lobby, and it's realistically only the last couple of players here for Boot. The AK will fall, and now Bobasaur, well, his position is pretty well known. He's already been having a bit of a go-ahead with QQ, who will take the peek as the smoke pops. And it's 6 up for Lucid Dream now, equalising things.
And Splashkey still doesn't have money for an AWP. The only times he's been able to get it is with pretty limited utility, or with a glass cannon, or when he's getting rushed by pistols when he's expecting a gun round. He's been really thrown off in this game, economically and also with the pace that Lucid Dream's sort of setting. Also, with how structured that their takes are, it's not like he's getting a huge amount of opportunities. He's being smoked off and flashed off angles constantly. A lot of these CTs are.
Alex might have spotted one, but I think he's also been spotted, so he just backs away into CT spawn. Not a fun place to be, really. It's given a lot of control over out to Lucid Dream.
I love this structured outside take. Again, same thing. Molotov to credit card, a smoke into the annex. You got PTC posted up for any CTs that are trying to make their way out of ladder base or heaven. So much control here for the T's as they start to make their way through warehouse, down secret. Splashkey gets tagged up there towards the ladder base as soon as he tries to get a little bit of info or a kill perhaps. Now Genius positioning himself up into CT.
If he wasn't aware of Alex crossing into CT, he certainly is now. Slows things down a little bit actually for Lucid, and it could have a bit of an impact. 50 seconds left. Lucid now having to rethink their strategy.
His control is good, but it doesn't really convert into a round. Now they're going to start to make their way down lowers. Maybe Genius will go for a bit of a prod into uppers and try to make a bit of impact there before they show their hand in terms of going towards that lower bomb site.
Qualifier just going to smoke and grenade off the ramp. It hasn't actually held the line, so there is still an opportunity for Boot to get in through there, but bomb down. Obviously won't be denied. PTC deals with Splashkey quite nicely. Oh, for Splashkey to take that aim duel with, and so 9 times out of 10 you're going to favour PTC in that one. And once again, a favourable post plan here for Lucid. Even if CBBK is only on 1 HP, he is still a danger. Boot giving this one up. That can't feel good.
There's just nothing that they can do up against this outside take that Lucid Dream's really running against them. I mean, the only opportunity you'll be able to go for a pick, I mean, they either have to do one of two things. Splashkey needs to get an AWP in his hands and try to punish some of these Ts making their way into outers. QQ cleans up both of the last, or 2 of the last saving CTs towards the end there. Benkar's the only one who's holding onto his gun now. But they either need to get the AWP in amongst it towards outside and pick some of these Ts as they're trying to take control, or they need to take a different part of the map. We need to see some radio pushes or some lobby crunches as soon as Lucid tries to go for that outer control. Because at the moment, it really feels like Lucid, they're able to take the map control and convert it very cleanly into these round wins.
Yeah, well, they're not going to be able to do anything about it with just an M4 and a HE nade on the CT side. So really nothing to their name. Lucid this time a lot quicker toward ramp. And nothing the Boot can do about it. They literally just cannot walk past that fire.
Must have been some kind of a tell there, because you saw them pick up the pace at a pretty weird time. Maybe they saw 1 or 2 players towards uppers and they were like, they didn't see anything ramp. Not sure. Re-molotoving and re-molotoving and re-molotoving.
And now a HE grenade as well, if that wasn't all enough.
Oh.
Straight through. That's a good throw.
Beautiful.
Doesn't seem as though Lucid leaving anything to chance. Even against the pistols, they are really structured, ensuring that all that utility gets used, make life as difficult as possible for Boot.
So Davar's actually going to hold on to that M4, which might make a bit of a difference. Alex, it doesn't really matter whether he gets this kill or not. The only thing that matters about it is whether he gets that extra $300 in his bank account for next round, really. Pays for the P250 that he invested in. Davar's going to be able to drop over an AWP if they want a double AWP. Splashkey's going to buy his own.
I don't know if you want a double AWP here. Benkai was okay with the secondary AWP, but that was on Dust 2.
Surprised they haven't given it to Devi, mate. He hasn't touched an AWP all night.
Yeah. Oh no, he did have one when Splashkey got the pick and he picked up the orb. That was on Nuke, and it was on CT side.
Boot pause?
I have to imagine it's a boot tactical. It's actually a Lucid tactical pause, I'm told.
There you go.
So, I don't know, just slowing things down, making boot Dreamscape stew.
What kind of stew is that?
Leathery.
Okay, so moving into this last round. The smokes towards the outside instantly from Lucid. Now they're going to very quickly make their way towards the lobby. Splashkey opens things up towards
First
Genius.
time with the AWP in the half, by the way.
Yeah, well, not the first time in the half, but...
He's only had it like 1 or 2 times, really.
And he takes it towards the outside, gets the pick there. Now PTC's posted up on him, but no, all Splashkey needs to do is survive at this point.
Well, push starting to come in from Lucid, but also from Alex. It's his way through radio. Is Lucid ready for him? Perhaps it doesn't even matter because Devi has just gone absolutely nuts on the A side.
And where was that earlier in the half from Boot? They needed that adaptation much sooner. You saw as soon as those outside smokes started to come out, Splashkey was really looking for that pick. He finds it on Salo very quickly. Soon after that, they really start to apply pressure to that lobby and flank fast through ramp and abuse the fact that, I mean, obviously, if you're going for a lot of control towards the outside and the majority of your players are there, if you're able to push lobby with a teammate or 2 or 3 CTs, you're able to take control of that part of the map and probably 1-for-1 get a fair bit of information and get yourself control of an annoying part of the map for the Ts. So as soon as they made that adaptation, they take that last round. Unfortunately, it was the last round of the half, so that's not really going to mean much going forward. Boot going to be heading into their T side, which, you know, it looked solid in terms of, you know, how they fundamentally played off of each other. Up against Alpha Red, but not necessarily solid in terms of the overall understanding of how to play the map strategically. It was really just a case of, oh, we're going to sort of look for peaks together, we're going to move in certain areas and take map control together, and then sort of close out the round by choosing one of the bomb sites and cleaning it out as best as we can, as opposed to like, oh, we're going to throw outside smokes and then go into this or go into that.
Looks like we've got a little bit of time to chat in between the halves. Now, I'm interested on your thoughts of how important this map actually is for Lucid, how important it is for Boot Dreamscape, bearing in mind that the next map is Train. If you go down 0 and 2 here, and as of course Lucid Dream have the map advantage, if you go down 0 and 2 here as Boot Dreamscape, what does that leave you with, obviously moving into Train?
I think Train is a pretty safe pick for Boot to be able to take it away, but I mean, I don't have a whole lot of data for watching Lucid on the map. I remember with one of the older iterations of their lineup, they played it a little bit, and they looked pretty shaky on the T side of it, but much better on the CT side of it, where they love to run double AWP and stuff like that. But that was ages ago.
That's like, literally like one player the same, so I'm not sure how relevant that is. Maybe we can touch in on the China qualifier, because as far as I'm aware, that's not being broadcast. Maybe it is. But for anyone that's interested right now, it's into the final as well. It was Vici that got the win over Panda. Tyloo, well, up 1-0 in the first map, which would be Mirage by the looks of things. So hasn't gotten too far. If it is being broadcasted, I'm not sure where but hopefully it is, because I'm sure that would be a really, really good game to watch as well.
I mean, Chinese classic games in general. You got Panda, which used to be the old CyberZen roster, and with some new up-and-comers mixed into it. That are sort of coming up in China, and then you got the 2 old dogs, your Vici and your Tyloo. All of the names you'd want to see in a China qualifier going up for an important spot in an international tournament. Now heading into this particular map. This is a ramp setup from the CTs. Doesn't work at all for them. Boots just ripping everyone's head off. Yeah,
I don't know if they're doing enough just yet, though, as there is still a challenge from Lucid Dream. CBBK and Genius to end up rotating off. It's favourable for Boot. But Splashkey's tagged up a little bit there and maybe lucky to get away with his life as he's only on the 15 HP. Genius on the chase, and this might be not a bad decision. He may catch him off guard. CBBK's gotten one. He just needs one shot into Splashkey. He'll get it. And now all of a sudden, it's into a 2v1. Benkai on his own for Boot, and he must be thinking, how has it all gone so wrong? Genius is continuing to push up, continuing to take this duel. And that gives the opportunity to Benkai now.
Pretty sure he was aware that CBBK was in ramp quite a while ago. CBBK, he's got himself a kit, so he can take a little bit of extra time if he needs it in this round in particular. Walking around looking for Benkai. Neither of these players have armor. Is going to open the door. I think CBBK's actually heard that. He's going to make his way very quickly down into lowers. Benkai, bomb planter for Decon, makes his way back into Decon, and he's going to go on a bit of a walkabout. Make it pretty difficult for CBBK to predict what position he's going to in this post plant.
One benefit is CBBK has a kid, and he's actually going to stick this by the looks of things. Benkai won't get there in time. Oh, dearie me. That's unfortunate for Benkai. He did so much good work to get it to where it was. And Balls of Steel CBBK just sits on the defuse.
That's what the B stands for in his name.
Yep.
Big balls.
CB Big Balls. don't know if I want to know what the C stands for.
All right. Actually a force from Boot going up against Lucid's what they thought would be an anti-eco.
They got a bomb down, so I guess the expectation could be there that they'd force. I mean, when you can get AKs and head armor through. I've got all of the utility there for Benkai. Obviously, it's cost Bulbasaur everything.
I don't think they did the most efficient buy possible.
Bulbasaur's like Thanos in this. What did it cost? Everything.
All right.
Running around with the cloth.
I'm your worst nightmare, etc. Yeah, we get it. A bunch of T's outside. Trying to make their way across. Flashbang, not so effective as CBBK is lining them up. Lots of damage done, but only 1 for 1 at the end of the day. Now, Boot taking control of this warehouse as well as maybe some of Secret. They don't seem too interested in Secret. Genius is chilling down there, untouched.
CBBK going down as well is the most powerful weapon actually out of the picture for Lucid too. And it looked like he was going to really just line up multiple. So I think Boot Dreamscape have gotten out of that one with a pretty good situation.
Again, Benkai in a good position towards heaven. Looks like Boot are setting up the Annex split, not working out for them at all. QQ
God.
lines 2 of them up.
And Benkai drops as well. QQ got 3. QQ got indeed. 10-7, Lucid Dream. Starting to pull ahead a little bit here, and I think it's getting a bit worrisome for Boot. Now they're on the T side. Didn't expect really to see them do as much on the T side as we did on the CT side. I mean, Splashy not getting it going with the AWP. Hasn't had the opportunity to get it going with the AWP. I think
he hasn't.
It's all sort of falling into place really for Lucid Dream here on map 1.
100%. Scoreline isn't indicative of how this game's really going. Splashky's diving straight through this smoke at ramps. What a madman. He wants that Deagle pick. Not going to get it.
Well, okay, 1 kill. No good for Boot Dreamscape, not this time.
I mean, that's the difference between a well-drilled Nuke team and a team that hasn't got as many reps in. You saw Lucid. They didn't even need to take an eco, and they're like, all right, we're going to do outer smokes, and we're going to catch them off guard with our pace, blistering pace going down Secret. Boot's eco strat is Splashky dive through a smoke, and everyone just kind of awkwardly follow him up.
Well, first proper gun round for Boot on the T side. Grenade into the squeaky door, but no push off the back of it. Splashy cops a bit of damage, not sure where from exactly. Actually has managed to get a player down vent.
Yeah, exactly right. And Splashky opens up through vent as well, catching off PTC on the rotate. 2 of these players towards ramp. Looks like they're sort of edging towards Megaton. Wannaflight gets caught off as well. Splashky's just too good at this point. All of these Boot players angling towards Annex and Secret. Smoking off QQ towards this Annex area, but...
Yeah, creep out behind it.
No
Very
chance.
aware, Bulbasaur. Benkai was above him anyway, so would have only been a matter of time. He might have gotten 1, but 1 would not have been enough. So that's the name of the game right now for Boot, is just get Splashky in positions where he can shoot heads. Genius wraps around on Benkai.
Got a DAP sticker on his M4. I don't think I've ever seen someone put a DAP sticker on their gun yet.
That's not very nice.
Got nothing to do with anything. I just don't think I've seen his sticker before. Is that okay, Jordan?
I mean, that is okay, yeah.
All right.
I got no issue with it.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I probably haven't seen it either.
Yeah, exactly. I'm your worst nightmare.
Okay. Yeah, you really are.
All right. So, I mean, Boot.
I think this is a good save for Lucid, though, looking at the money.
Yep, definitely. and get themselves an AWP. That really was just the splash key round. I mean, we talked about it in the last series. You got to ride off the rounds where splash key's just a bit too good.
Yeah, you're going to get 1 or 2 of them, but is it going to be enough to win you the map?
Not sure about that. Guess we'll have to find out. Now, Lucid. Buy up an AWP, at least one.
Yep.
If splash key doesn't get that much done from the vent, I don't know how that round really would have gone for Boot. They didn't really have much else going for them.
Well, I mean, you can put in context, if he doesn't get much done from the vent, he goes down to PTC then, so it's 4v5 to begin with.
And they have no control of anything. They're just sitting, 3 of them are in lobby. Alex is under silo. So, nice job from your boy Splash Key. QQ cops a bit of damage, but overall sort of shuts down the avenue of vent being an option for Boot to start to make a pick towards. This round in particular, Benkai's chilling on top of silo with a few of the other lads. Looking for any of these Lucid players that might start to get a bit aggressive towards outside. Meanwhile, Splashkey, he's chilling in lobby. He's being the rock, making sure no one from Lucid is getting too over-aggressive or taking control of that part of the map. My question's really going to be, oh my god, Splashkey, can you stop doing this, mate? Just winning every duel. It's not fair.
CBBK surely heard Benkai dropping, and we'll spot him as well. I thought he might get ruined by the jump there, but in the end it goes okay. It's a 2-for-2 trade overall. Genius wrapping in here into Annex, does manage 1 before being traded out himself on a fly. Cannot beat Alex though. And PTC, well, we question what he's going to be able to do with the AWP. So far, hasn't had an opportunity. Let's see what he can now. They've given him the opening, but he over-peaks it a little bit.
Great job from Alex in that round. He's in the perfect position to trade all of his teammates. Gets himself a 3K there. But again, it was Splashkey who opened it up. Again, if Splashkey doesn't get that kill, I don't know how well that round's really going for Boot at that point. You know, they had some control of T-Red. But apart from that, you know, it's not like they got anything towards Secret or Warehouse at that point. Here's the nade stack ready for any kind of fast squeaky door push. Instead, it's going to be towards outside. Bobo is just holding it down. In comes the artillery.
Yeah, not too scary.
Alright, so looks like this anti-eco is wrapping up for Boot, but they're getting closer, Jordan. They're getting up towards that double digits after this round and getting much, much closer towards Lucid Dream's scoreline. Are we going to see them take their opponent's map pick again? I mean, Lucid's money's not fantastic.
I mean, I'm not sold on it just yet. Let's put it that way. But
they have tons of money.
It's looking workable.
Yeah, they've got lots of money on the T side. They got plenty more buy rounds in them. The CT buy is not too good just yet.
Like, we just haven't seen Lucid putting PTC in a great position just yet. You know, he hasn't done anything with the AWP. So what happens when he actually finds some form? If he can get in position to find some form.
Gonna go aggressive towards Radio. He's actually going fast towards Secret, which I like considering how Boot's been playing. It's a nice adaptation because they've been so focused on this T-Red area and getting on top of Annex. It's a potential for a free pick if PTC's able to get himself in the right position. He's actually playing quite passive towards lowers. He doesn't want to go towards Secret. Boot, only 2 players towards outside. Now shuffling a third over as Alex makes his way to support his teammates on top of Annex and towards T-Red.
Really not a lot of utility here for Lucid. They've literally thrown everything early.
Yeah, they didn't have the most fantastic money heading into this one. Some of them had like 4K to 4.5K. Yeah. In fact, most of them did. 2 players towards lower. I don't really feel like Lucid's got a good grip on what Boot's really doing in this round at the moment. Boot's giving them absolutely zero info.
Yeah, PTC will take the opportunity to push up a little bit. You can see, I think it was Genius that went down there to scout it out for him.
So here we're going to see the result of what would have happened in that other round where Splashkey opens up from lobby. This time, Boots, they haven't got the pick. Benkai's making his way under heaven as it looks like there's going to be 2 towards Annex, 2 lobby, and Benkai's going to be going under heaven. Potentially try to jump up there, and it's going to be a lobby pinch, an uppers pinch rather.
Benkai has been key, hasn't he? But QQ, an important frag. Can he double it down? Doesn't seem like it's going to be an easy task for him, but he gets 3! They lined up for him. That's the worst possible scenario for Boot. There's 17 seconds. The bomb is on the floor. There's still 3 players to deal with. How do they get out of this one alive? Well, PTC somehow doesn't actually manage to finish that kill off, but 2 shots from the AWP certainly will. Tags him through the silo there as well. And it's finished off by Qualifier.
So there it is. I mean, it's a situation where I feel like if Splashkey isn't consistently getting these kills on the T side and opening up the rounds, it doesn't really feel like Boot's getting any kind of tangible map control it's delivering.
Yeah.
Like, they're just chilling around T-Red. They're sitting in lobby. That's not an important part of the map on Nuke. You want to be getting into secret.
Really
you want to try to take control of the ramp room.
But this really could have turned on a dime, right? If
For
QQ
sure.
doesn't get all 3 there, then that round sort of, actually, I would say goes the way of Boot.
Yeah, that is fair. Could have gone either way.
But maybe a bit more confidence for Lucid after that, though. We'll see what happens here. PTC again, you know, he hit a couple nice shots with the AWP. So I think getting that confidence rolling. Splashkey now has an ult for himself on the T side.
Loves diving through that ramp smoke, doesn't he?
He made a bit too much noise there with the scope in. I don't think there was a player too close, though.
I think CBBK actually went towards lower.
Yeah, he did.
Is Wannafly boosted up? Yeah, there is. All right.
So maybe he did hear the scope.
I would say he probably did hear that footstep. And maybe the scope as well. Devi is very close behind Splashkey. They haven't done anything towards outside this time. Very heavily leaning towards trying to take control of this ramp room. PTC, beautiful angle from Splashkey. Are they going to expect Qualifier? They do check him. Doesn't even get one. That's a clean ramp room entry from your boys over on Boot.
Yeah, CBBK, he hasn't been checked, and he's got the MP9, so you'd really love an M4, but he might be able to deny the bomb plan. It's not in the smoke, so CBBK buys a little bit more time here. But again, obviously, with that gun, difficult to multi-frag. And not enough probably done by Lucid in this round to really trouble Boot Dreamscape. You will be forced to open Decon, and Splashy finishes him off. As soon as Splashy has the AWP, you see an immediate difference. 3 kills out for him, really leading from the front once again. That's put Lucid in an awful position economically.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a singular save from them. I think they still have 2 or 3 loss bonus or something like that at this point. Though I haven't been counting personally. But still very, very close. Boot doing a fantastic job on their T side thus far. It's been a very, very back and forward game. Benkai gets on top of Outers, on top of Annex again. 2 players to support him towards Outers. Other 2 lads just chilling in lobby, taking their time. Pretty solid anti-eco thus far. Boost up. Bulbasaur's going to hop on top of T-Red and look towards Warehouse and ladder base. There's the smoke into Annex. And thus far, it doesn't really seem like Boot's doing the same thing. They don't have the extra smoke onto the windows as well as the molly onto Heaven that Lucid did. They instead kind of chill and wait for some picks. This time Benkai opens up towards outside. Nice to see Lucid Dream go and take that lobby control that I talk about time and time again. When the T side actually goes and takes control of Outers, they reactively instantly push lobby. As soon as some of that utility comes out, the smoke onto Annex, they go and take lobby control. But you could see how passive Boot were there. They didn't want anything to do with that.
Well, whatever Boot's doing, it actually seems to be working at the moment. Did not expect that it was going to get this close. Not much being done on this eco from Lucid. The AK now for CBBK doesn't quite hit the shot onto Benkai, which is really what he needed to make that an interesting round, and it'll be finished off by Benkai as well. So we're at 12 apiece now. Game's kind of hanging in the balance, really.
PTC's got money for an AWP, though. That's another landmine that they have to avoid. I would say Boot, it's just a very, very simple sort of gameplay. They wait around a lot for some aggression from Lucid Dream. They don't really focus much on taking control of the map in terms of ramp room or going down secret very much, but instead they're really focusing on Benkai getting in a good position. Splashy's being given a lot of freedom and he delivers a lot of the time to get a lot of those picks. This time Benkai is going to be punished jumping on top of Annex and trying to get control of that outside by PTC. So nice adjustment from Lucid, and that's going to make it a lot harder for Boot to get into this round, because Benkai seemed like what is that? Come on, like, every time they're at a disadvantage, you can't just pull them back into it like that.
I just don't understand how he does it. I could see it coming though, you know? And again.
How does he do it? He just slides out onto your boy on a fly screen, deletes him.
Oh,
Oh,
well.
that's a nice follow-up, though, from PTC.
And
He's also got 2 AWP frags in this round.
And he's gotten rid of Splash Key. He's gotten rid of the Danger Man, really.
There you go, Alpha AWPer for you.
Well, is he? I don't know.
Alpha male.
Does he win the round as a result? It doesn't seem like it. This has to go down to QQ. And he just totally whiffed the entire spray. Oh my god. This is... Actually, now Boots map to take, it feels like.
Off the back of a no-scope through the smoke
Yeah.
into upper, and then sliding out into ramp and shooting the ramp anchor. Then they just roll onto lowers.
Yep.
What is it that Boot are doing so well?
It's Splash Key.
Is 100%. It's not just Splash Key though, like they are fundamentally playing off of each other well. When they choose when to hit the bomb sites, it's in a very simple manner. It doesn't have a lot of utility involved, but they go together and they try to make the best of it, and they make sure that they try to trade these kills out. Unbelievable, this man. Alright, so outside smokes from Boot. I don't think I've seen them do them very much on nukes thus far. They're not going to use them too much. Benkai's just prodding towards outside while they hold lobby. I think it's more of a case of Boots throwing out the outside smokes to try to bait Lucid Dream into pushing lobby while they're holding it pretty strongly. Benkai's getting himself a lot of info on outside here. Once again, he's going to be the one to determine where Boot's going to end up this round. He's going to try to gather the info to make sure that they don't run into a stack, as he's been doing thus far so well tonight, time and time again.
Yeah, he's been a standout, really. Like, maybe not necessarily impacting the scoreboard in that respect, but...
Helping the IGL make a decision.
Yeah.
Like, he gathers so much info.
Oof, that's a ragdoll enough. He'll be able to finish off CBBK as well, so some reward for his effort.
Beautiful anti-eco from Boot. And it's something that you wouldn't really, unless you kind of think about it a little bit more, you wouldn't really understand what they really went for there. But like throwing the smokes towards outside and trying to force that lobby push to come in, and then, you know, Benkai makes his way through outside and gathers so much info for them. As soon as he gets that kill, as soon as Splashkey punishes that person pushing ramp, everyone's still posted up. They're not in a rush to get anywhere. They're still waiting for this lobby push to come in. Like, how many seconds was, like a whole minute into the round. They haven't budged.
Well, it's double AWP time for Lucid, so they're going to really, I think, throw their last straw. Last ditched effort at this one.
PTC's once again down in lowers pretty passively, holding an angle and just waiting, as well as Wonderfly. He's AWPing towards ramp as well, holding an angle and just waiting for someone to get over aggressive. They want that first pick. They're not going to get it though. Splashkey's too good.
Might not be a bad spot here for PTC, although he could probably be caught on this push up if he doesn't get to the corner in time, although he has managed to get there. Taking the peek, gets the kill. So equalizes at least. It seems like it's a bit of a battle between Splashkey and PTC. We'll see who can... He almost hits that, by the way. He literally almost hits that.
Is there anything more unnerving if you're PTC?
I was just saying, it feels like which AWPer can actually have more of an impact wins the round.
Genius, he knows. He's well aware.
But is he going to win the aim duel? That's the question. No.
Oh my god, how does he not?
I think you back Benkai every time there. He's been so solid coming out from heaven, and now look at how much pressure he's putting onto QQ. PTC still chiming in, but Benkai's got so much room to move. It doesn't matter. QQ again, 2 into Annex. Oh, and it's 1v1. Wannafly and Benkai. Benkai does know. I think he heard.
Oh, how has that happened? Benkai again through the heaven. He makes it happen every time. They're waiting for him. They know he's coming. It's not a question of whether he's coming. It's a question of when he's coming.
Oh, man.
Pretty scuffed by for Lucid. And Boot, again, about to upset on Nuke up against this Thai team, crushing their dreams, and going to make it a 1-1, I would imagine, unless something spectacular happens from Lucid in this round. CBBK is trying to goblin around the smoke with the MP9, backed up by QQ, I think, although not sure if QQ is right next to him in Annex or not. sometimes hard to tell if he's in lower or not. Yes, he is. They're really fighting this outside control. Bobo lost most of it. How has he hit that headshot?
CVVK is just in the worst possible position. Is he going to at least get one? He has to get at least one. Come on.
Look,
I'm just waiting for Benkai to turn around and kill him. But it's still 2v3, so not sure that it makes too much of a difference. Boot's still very much favoured. Genius brings one back, and that's Benkai, another impactful player down. One will go down on B here for sure.
Qualifiers coming in from Megaton, but with the UMP, how much can he really expect to make happen? Oh my god, he might find the timing. Are they trying to go back to upper through Megaton? What a fly!
What a fly. Won't be able to get the second onto Alex, but it certainly makes it more of a doable situation here for Genius, especially if Alex goes to B.
Alex is going down to lower. He faked the death cam so beautifully there. Genius is so rocked, he has no idea that it's lower.
What? He still thinks it's upper?
Yeah, because of the death cam. Alex ran away up Megaton on the death cam of Wannafly. And Wannafly's just going, he's going back up to A, he's going back. No, he's not.
Well,
He's gamed you. He's in the perfect spot to clutch.
Now where do you go as Genius? Alex is going to win it for Boot. That's the map on the board, and they've equalized it at 1 apiece. Lucid Dream, you can kiss your map advantage goodbye. Boot on the T side, somehow they just absolutely rock. I mean, I don't know where that's come from, honestly.
I mean, Splashkey drops a 30, that's pretty good, but also you have to point it towards, you know, Benkai making some great plays in terms of info and getting up into heaven and just being a really big pillar of that T side for Boot. He was doing so well getting that outside control and getting information and being really annoying for the Lucid Dream side. And then as well, Alex, he was doing so well in some of those rounds in terms of clutching them and as well trading on the T side of some of his teammates to be able to win some of those clutch rounds. And I mean, you just have to hand it to Boot. You have the big driving force as Splashkey, but also you got your smaller fuels and your smaller cogs in terms of all the other lads contributing in their own ways as well.
Well, now we definitely have a game on our hands. Spain, the next map coming up, that's Boot's map choice, and traditionally they've always been quite solid on the map. Mirage, I think, is one that can go either way, so who knows really where we go from here.
Yeah, I think both of the next two maps, I'm not too sure how well Lucid's going to function on train. I'm not sure how good they are on that map or how much data they have. I'll have to have a little look in the break for that map in particular, but we know that's a good map for Boot. As for Mirage, that should be a banger. I know both these teams can play Mirage up to a pretty decent standard, so that's going to be a fantastic map to watch as well.
How does that shot hit? You just got to keep going back to it. Splashkey, I don't know how he continues to do it.
That was such a key round as well. That's where they started to, you know, really put the nail in the coffin. They should have, I mean, they were down a man in that round, and then Splashkey just evens it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just time and time again. I don't know if you can continue to rely on that, though, as Boot. You know, that's not a kill that comes every time. So if that's the way that you win the map, sure, that's fantastic, but maybe they need a little bit more. Obviously, the series still has a long way to go, but that actually gives me a lot more faith in Boot. If they can do that against Lucid Dream on their own map choice, a map that we thought, a bit up in the air here, now it seems like a winnable series for Boot.
Yeah, definitely, and I guess we're going to have to see how it sort of continues to go for Lucid throughout the series.
Yeah, well, we shall obviously continue to see. We've got potentially 3 more maps coming up here, guys. We're going to head to a quick break. Obviously, we're going to need it for potentially a long night ahead, but Train coming up next. A chance for Boot to go 2-1 up in the series. What a phenomenal result that would be for them. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.